On Pornhub. Aren't you a moderator, bro? Aren't you a mod over there?
I do enjoy reading the comments.
You do?
You ever read the comments under the videos on Pornhub?
Never once in my entire life.
I'm telling you, next time go, just click comments.
Okay.
And it's just the weirdest stuff because
Like what?
like it'll be one guy who says, "Oh my God, I would love to just fuck her in her ass," right? No matter what's happening. And then there's another guy who has like actual critiques.
Okay.
Of like, yeah, this one wasn't that good. like
lighting was off or like performance?
Yeah, he's giving like critiques of like the actual video and shit. It's
you think porn stars look at their comments like we do?
Dude.
Oh yeah.
I knew a kid that used to do this.
Wait, what?
He would comment. He was like a comic from Orlando. He would comment on porn, like videos on
For
Pornhub,
real or like to troll people?
He would do like legit breakdowns. Like he would do Cinephile for fucking Pornhub, and break that shit down. And then porn stars started sending him videos, being like, "Hey, can you review my video?"
Get out of here.
He started doing like low key like porn reviews on Pornhub.
That's white privilege, bro.
He's like a Dominican kid. So
did he make money?
I don't know. I don't know if he did. There's
What's
a market,
his name? Can we follow him?
Mike Almanzar.
Yo, shout out to Mike Almanzar, man. You the fucking truth.
I probably have seen his comments. I enjoy your work, Mike, whoever you are. Like, because I mean, it's fucking hilarious. I mean, I think you gotta. We talked about this last time about when you watch too much porn.
Yeah.
You reach a level where it's like you're not even watching porn to jerk off or whatever. You're watching porn for enjoyment. Like some porn makes me laugh.
What?
You never laugh. You never laugh when you're watching.
He
porn.
just watches Cobra Kai for that reason.
Yeah,
He
you gotta
doesn't
get
do
into that Cobra Kai, man. No mercy, strike first.
That's not good when it comes to porn.
Fuck, you're right. Anyway, man, look, I mean, we're gonna get off on that incredibly awkward moment so that people judge you, but they will find more about you at the Black Opinions Matter Motherfucker podcast network.
Yep.
They'll also find it at
Cinephobe.
And, of course, all over ESPN.
All over ESPN. There it is.
I love you.
We love you, Doug.
I'm so grateful that you come on to our podcast and let us harass you. And this is going to be one of the longest podcasts we probably put out, but we got to do it.
We got to.
I just want to say thank you so much for coming on to me. I appreciate you. I love you. I think you're amazingly talented. And anytime you're in New York, please come by and hang out with us. And huge thank you to all of our listeners. Asshole Army, thank you so much for being with us, spreading the word, showing love. You know what I mean? We see you on the YouTube videos commenting. You know what I mean? We're out there creeping like a mean. We're not playing games, you know what I mean? But for real, we appreciate it. And look, you know that if you're a listener to the show, you know that we got a Patreon episode dropping Friday. Every Friday we put an episode out. You can go get that at patreon.com/flagrant2. Unfiltered, unrelenting, the raw, the realest, the craziest, the shit that we absolutely cannot put out on a regular episode because they would try to cancel us in a fucking heartbeat. And that's what Amin thought he was going to be on.
Bachelor's degree. So I decided I was going to dedicate myself to doing a bachelor's degree program online. WGU was affordable. I actually paid for the program out of pocket. I didn't even use financial aid. And with the help of the mentors at WGU, I finished the program in 8 months. Now that I've got my bachelor's degree, it's like, here, now the world is open to you. Whatever you want to do next, you can do it.
The thing that's got a hold of her, it's got stronger.
Whatever this thing is doing to you, we can stop it.
Wrong.
My body is the last thing the world needs is a hostile family reunion.
Oh shit, it's game time. Oh, we folding this one. Oh, what they got trouble with? Yeah, we got going on.
The crazy craziest, the shit that we absolutely cannot put out on a regular episode, because they would try to cancel us in a fucking heartbeat. And that's what Amin thought he was going to be on.
So I decided I was going to dedicate myself to doing a bachelor's degree program online.
Computer's acting stupid.
Affordable. I actually paid for the program out of pocket, financial aid. And with the help of mentors at WGU, I finished the program in 8 months. Now that I've got my bachelor's degree, it's like, here, now the world is open to you. Whatever you want to do next, you can do it.
Okay, so what? So he's allowed to. He's blacking up. Okay, you're blacking up, man. I can see him. No, you want me to guess on the podcast? Oh shit! What about Al? Could Al be a guest? Al could be a guest. After fun. All right, listen. Go check out Amin.
Shut that Alright, we are good again. Excellent. Not my dog. It's the neighbor's dog. I'm gonna fold this for deuce. Somebody shut the door.
Fall asleep comfy with Purple's fall sale. For a limited time, get a set of free Purple sheets and adjustable plush pillow when you buy a Purple mattress.
Yo! What was that? What was that? What's going on, everybody? I figured I'd just jump in to give you my opinions on what happened in the first presidential debate. If you missed the debate, I'm going to give you a quick recap of what happened. Would you like to respond to it? Was very informative. First things first, we need new debate rules, people. Chris Wallace, thank you for your service, and I hope that you have a lot of money for your therapy. You made a valiant effort, but you were not ready for this, because no human being could have been ready for this. They don't need a moderator for this thing. They need a UFC ref. Dana White, get on it. Trump would not shut up. Right now, he's still in his bedroom complaining about how crooked Hillary rigged the election that he won. She totally stole it, but I got it. I brought it back. I grabbed it from her. I totally had it. Past the toothpaste, Melania. That's what I did. I grabbed it from Hillary. I mean, at one point, Chris Wallace was this close to looking at Trump and saying, nigga, you gotta shut the f up. That was Chris Wallace losing his mind. So look, moderators, you need to figure out how to handle Trump at a debate, because this is not good for the nation. It doesn't work to just say, Mr. President, please, Mr. President, please, please, Mr. President, please. Have you ever asked a toddler, please, please, put down the matches, please, put down, your house will be burned down around you. That's why Melania slaps the hand. You gotta slap the hand. Can't be talking to a toddler. I'm telling you, man, they need to switch things up. They need to figure something out. Do anything. Give the next moderator a spray bottle just to spritz them anytime they interrupt. I promise you, Trump will be quiet because his hair turns into a gremlin if it gets wet. Just spray him. Psst, psst. Or you know what, even better? Give Trump $100 for every time he lets Biden finish a sentence. Yeah. I mean, the money is a great incentive for him, and now that we've seen the tax returns, we know that he needs it. And whoever decided on this format needs to be fired. Because I don't know about you at home, but I have never, and I mean never, wanted to see a commercial break more badly in my life. I cannot do 90 straight minutes of this shit ever again. It was brutal. There's got to be a commercial break every 5 minutes. And during those commercial breaks, every ad should be for antidepressants or some drug that has side effects that make you forget the last 4 years. And honestly, if you went to a commercial in the middle of this thing, I bet even the guys in the ad would be flustered. They'd be so thrown off by Donald Trump, they'd be like, I was gonna tell you about the cat litter or hot dogs, or I can't remember any. I'm sorry, guys, I don't know what this ad is about. That guy just kept on. And these debates need fact checkers. Why am I the only person who still says, guys, debates need fact checkers? Because otherwise people can just stand on the stage and say whatever they want and there are no consequences. Zero, nada, zilch. Every time a candidate says a lie, there should be some sort of like sign that they lied. Like maybe a brick should come down on their side of the screen, you know, like Tetris. And then as they lie, it'll just gradually build up higher and higher until it covers their face. I mean, the best part for Trump is that 5 minutes into the debate, he'll finally have his wall. There are so many places where there is no truth. Twitter, Facebook, partisan news networks. These debates, at the very least, should be a place where people can tune in and expect some kind of fact check, you know? You can't just have both candidates making things up if they're going to make things up. It's like you don't know. Is Biden telling the truth? I think so. Is Trump? That's definitely a lie, but no one's saying anything. You can't have them decide when it's a lie. It's like the NBA Finals. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, you can call your own fouls. No, that's chaos. You need an actual ref on the court, people. I mean, the one upside of this whole night is now we know what the Fight Club sequence looked like in 40 years. That's the one upside. In fact, that's what we should do. We should just let these guys wrestle. Just let them physically wrestle each other. Because the reality is, everyone's made up their mind, all right? There's no such thing as an undecided voter. It's just people too embarrassed to say how they'll vote. So let's entertain America at least with two old men wrestling, and the winner gets a free hip replacement. So, I don't know, guys. Fresh after the debate, what is my takeaway? I don't actually know. I mean, I don't know how Biden did, because Trump did more interrupting than Kanye West in a room full of Taylor Swifts. It sounded less like a debate and more like the radio was stuck catching two stations. I wouldn't hit Hillary until this guy's a clown. Please, Mr. President. I can't believe that Biden even managed to keep any train of thought. That was impressive. You want to talk about being a corpus mentis for being president? Pay attention while Trump is trying to interrupt you the whole time. It's like having a little devil on your shoulder, but they're not trying to convince you of anything. They're just trying to mess you up. Yeah, that's what 250,000. That's that. It's a lie. Barisma, baby. I was watching that debate, and I kept forgetting where I was. I actually hope Biden was taking drugs, because that's the only way I was able to get through the debates. And as for Trump's performance, two things. One, now we finally know what it would be like if he read his Twitter feed out loud. And two, I can't believe how hard his brain malfunctioned when they asked him to denounce white supremacists. Will you denounce the Proud Boys, Mr. President? Well, the Proud Boys, well, stand back and stand by, boys. So after the first debate, I don't know if anybody won. All I know is, for the next debate, I'm gonna stand back from the TV and stand by a bottle of wine. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the fallout from the first presidential debate on the Daily Social Distancing Show debate. Good night! I'm out! This shit was ridiculous.
There. Great beds, no bull. That is the original Mattress Factory difference. Quality products plus factory direct pricing equals great value. It all starts with a box spring frame. Original Mattress Factory designs their frames with about 60% more wood. That's a lot more wood, and that is a much stronger frame. On top of the wood frame sits the box spring modules. The box spring modules work with the wood frame to act as a shock absorber for the mattress. Now, what you want from your box spring is to have plenty of support, but you also want it to have a little give. Mainstream brands use a rigid foundation called semi-flex, and we often joke that it takes a semi to flex it.
Oh yeah, it flexed all right.
The original Mattress Factory box spring takes a lot less than a semi-truck to flex it. It only takes you. Now on top of the box spring sits the mattress itself. Inside our orthopedic mattresses are super supportive springs to actively support you. The original Mattress Factory uses heavy gauge coils in their mattresses to provide nearly twice as much support as the mainstream brands. And if you could look inside of an original Mattress Factory mattress, you'd see that mattress offering end-to-end support, while mainstream brands cut their corners by eliminating the coils and replacing them with foam rails. Speaking of cutting corners, mainstream mattress brands use only foams and fibers in their upholstery layers. The original Mattress Factory uses real cotton padding. And did we stop there? Of course not! We specifically designed our orthopedic mattresses with 2 sides rather than 1. This allows you to use both sides, extending the life of your mattress. Okay, so let's add this up. Sturdier frame, real shock-absorbing box springs, stronger, more supportive inner springs, cotton padding, true end-to-end support on a double-sided mattress. Seems like a slam dunk. Could there be anything else?
Now that we've all had a full day to absorb the first presidential debate, let's really sit down and talk about what we learned. You know, take some time to analyze the policy disagreements. Think through the important issues. Pass the nuances of...
The question is, Justice, radical left, will you shut up, man? You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. This is so unprecedented. He's going to pack the court. Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. He wasn't dishonorably.
Cocaine use.
Wait a minute. You get the final word. Well, it's hard to get any word in with this clown. Excuse me.
Hey, let me just tell you, there's nothing smart about you, Joe. 47 years you've done nothing.
Listen, you're the worst president America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
Oh, snap! These guys were bickering so much, Canada called the cops to complain about the noise. I have never seen a debate like that in my life. To be honest, I've never seen anything like that in my life. Honestly, it seemed less like a presidential debate and more like a fight that you overhear in a booth at Denny's. Well, you shut up, you clown. You got no class. I got no class. You got terrible grades, and your son's a cokehead. You piece of shit! You don't talk about my son! You listen! Yeah, hi. Can I get the moons over my hammy with the orange juice, please? Yeah, that'll be all, though. Thank you so much. You got drunk, and you hit on your own daughter! I wasn't drunk. I mean, some of these insults were way more personal than you ever seen in a debate. Especially Biden calling Trump a clown. Which, guys, I'm sorry, that's not fair to Trump.
Push me all in.
Clowns I wanted them. That are too big for them. They're deeply sad even when they don't show it. Does that sound like Donald Trump to you? Now, let's just be clear. The reason that this debate was such a colossal train wreck is because Donald J. Trump was throwing grenades on the tracks. And usually in a debate, the moderator is there to prevent things from getting out of hand. But last night's moderator, Chris Wallace, was about as successful at stopping Trump as the...
Tuning Out the News, the first animated series to cover the news the same day it happens, featuring hard-hitting news shows.
The story's undercooked. We won't send it back to the kitchen. It's rude.
Popular votes.
The country would be better served if we allowed both people to speak with fewer interruptions. I'm appealing to you, sir, to do that.
Well, and him too.
Well, frankly, you've been doing more interrupting.
Well, that's
than
all
he
right.
has.
Obamacare,
Mr.
I got
President,
rid of it.
I'd like
And
you
we
to,
will protect
Mr.
people with
President, I'm the
pre-existing
moderator of this
conditions.
debate, and I would like you to let me ask my question, and then you can answer.
Go ahead.
Sir, wait, no, sir, it's just yeah, I understand. You've agreed to the 2 minutes, so please let him have it. Sir, you made a
There was no
you made a point. Let him answer. Mr. President, let him answer. The second subject is COVID-19, which is an awfully serious subject. So let's try to be serious about it.
Not true.
You're going to have
true.
Gentlemen.
Rather push with it.
I hate to raise my voice, but it seems to be, why should I be different than the two of you? No, you've been talking back
made
and
a
forth.
statement.
I'm asking you.
I would love to end it.
Sir,
I would love to end it, and
You know,
we
if you
would
want to
very-
switch seats,
we would
can
very quickly.
We can do that.
Oh man, that is so sad. Trump was being such a child that Chris Wallace actually had to pull the "do you want to switch seats" move that English teachers use with their students. And honestly, I'm glad that Trump didn't take him up on it. Because if Trump takes over Wallace's job, then Wallace has to take over Trump's job. And I don't know if he has it in him to kill 200,000 people. But seriously though, I feel bad for Chris Wallace. Any moderator in a Trump debate is basically a WWE ref. You're not really stopping anyone. You're just there to get body slammed every once in a while. And people have been criticizing Wallace for how he handled the debate. But honestly, guys, I don't know if another moderator could have done better. I mean, whether you like it or not, Trump is the president of the United States. So what was Wallace supposed to do? Ground him? There was no way to stop Trump last night. He interrupted Biden, he interrupted Wallace, and there weren't any commercials last night. But if there were, Trump would have interrupted those too.
Guys, are you tired of frequent nighttime bathroom trips? Well, force back your prostate.
Why is it, just out of curiosity, the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million?
Whew, that guy's relentless. So, look, this was not a shining moment in the American history books, right? Political observers refer to it as a shit show, a dumpster fire, the worst debate in history. And with all the interrupting and cross-talking, it might have even been hard to remember if anything important happened last night. But there was one moment that really stood out.
Are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. Do you want to call them? What do you want to call them? Give me a name. Give me a
White
name.
supremacists and
Who would
right
you like me to condemn?
white supremacists and right
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem.
Wow. There you have it, folks. Trump had an opportunity to be like, white supremacists, I don't with you. Instead, he's like, stand by, guys. I never know when I'm going to need you. Telling white supremacists to stand down and telling them to stand by are not the same thing. Right? That one little word makes a huge difference. Like the difference between a blowout and a blowjob. Do not ask for the wrong one at Supercuts. Again, to the staff at Supercuts, I apologize. I hadn't slept and I didn't read the menu properly. And even for that non-condemnation, Trump had to be dragged into it. Like no president should ever have to be pressured this hard into condemning white supremacists. It's the easiest thing. Trump did it so grudgingly. He was like one of those guys who refuses to make real apologies. What, I'm supposed to apologize for tailgating at your dad's funeral? Fine, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're unable to have a good time. Some of us are still living. And by the way, you know that you've truly botched your condemnation of a hate group when that hate group says, thank you for the endorsement.
You're not a dish. You're a man. Most name brand bars and body washes you rub on your skin are classified by the FDA as synthetic detergent. It's not even real soap. Stop marinating your man meat in unholy ingredients that are harmful to your well-being, body, and sperm count. Start treating your...
The Proud Boys, a far-right extremist group, immediately celebrating the president's comments on social media.
They went nuts on social media celebrating. They put out those words as a rallying cry. Stand back, stand by.
Within minutes, the group's members were posting on private social media calling Trump's comments, quote, historic. The New York Times reports that some group members labeled it as a tacit endorsement of their violent tactics, while another posted the group was already seeing a spike in new recruits.
Yes, thanks to Donald Trump's failed condemnation, this hate group is now seeing an increase in recruits. Which means in the history of television, that might be one of the worst answers ever given. And that's coming from someone who once guessed the number 7 on Wheel of Fortune. I didn't know it had to be letters. I was new to America. The Proud Boys liked Donald Trump's answer so much that they're even adopting it as their new slogan. And that actually might piss off Trump because the one thing he definitely believes in is getting royalties.
Whoa. Nobody should be advocating the supremacy of the white man without giving Donnie his cut.
I'd be careful if I were the Proud Boys, though. Because if there's one thing we know about Donald Trump, it's that once he invests in you, you have about 5 years until you go bankrupt. So yes, in a debate that consisted almost entirely of 3 old men trying to shout over each other, this one moment was horrifying enough to break out and get noticed. And you know it's bad when even Trump's own supporters are left saying, "You done f***ed up."
The president, well, he would not condemn white supremacists.
I agree that the president made a bad error, and I think that was a huge gap.
He was kind of like playing around. I didn't like that he equivocated when he could have slam dunked that.
If he misspoke, I think he should correct it. If he doesn't correct it, I guess he didn't misspeak.
Donald Trump threw the biggest layup in the history of debates by saying not condemning white supremacists. I don't know if he didn't hear it, but he's got to clarify that right away. That's like, are you against evil? Why the president didn't just knock that out of the park, I'm not sure.
And that's Fox News.
Why didn't the president condemn white supremacy?
It's
a real mystery. Maybe he didn't hear the question. Or maybe he misspoke. Or maybe he thought they said Sprite supremacists, and he's really into Sprite. I can't think of any other explanation, Watson. By the way, did you notice that even when Fox people acknowledge Trump did something really bad, they still give him the benefit of the doubt? I wish I had friends that were that loyal. You know, if I shat my pants in public, none of my friends would be like, Trevor didn't shit himself, his butt misspoke. Look, Trump's friends can play dumb about this all they want. But I don't know why. I don't know why at this point. People are still acting surprised when he refuses to denounce white supremacists. Because as you may remember, this is not exactly a new thing for him.
I think there's blame on both sides. You had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
You see today white nationalism as a rising threat around the world.
I don't really. There are white supremacist groups and individuals like that who support you, some of whom you've even retweeted.
Well, that I know nothing about. I mean, I don't know about retweeting. I mean, you retweet somebody who turns out to be a white supremacist. I know nothing about these groups that are supporting me.
Will you unequivocally condemn David Duke and say that you don't want his vote or that of other white supremacists in this election?
I don't know anything about David Duke, okay? I don't know anything about what you're even talking about with white supremacy or white supremacists. You wouldn't want me to condemn a group that I know nothing about. I'd have to look. If you would send me a list of the groups, I will do research on them, and certainly I would disavow if I thought there was something wrong. But you may have groups in there that are totally fine, and it would be very unfair. So give me a list of the groups, and I'll let you know.
Okay. I mean, I'm just talking about David Duke and the Ku Klux Klan.
I don't know, honestly, I don't know David Duke. I don't believe I've ever met him. I'm pretty sure I didn't meet him, and I just don't know anything about him.
With Facebook Shops, connecting people with your business just got easier.
You can bridge the gap between an online store with a storefront.
Sell your product.
Yeah, Facebook business.
Yeah.
Looking
It's actually hard to keep track of all the times that Trump had the chance to be anti-racist and didn't. The only thing he avoids more than condemning white supremacists is paying taxes. And keep in mind, this is the same guy who has strong opinions on everything. I mean, the man tweeted for a month about Robert Pattinson's love life. Robert Pattinson, aka Twilight. But then when it comes to white supremacy, he's like, hey man, I don't get involved in other people's business. You know, you do your own thing. The truth is, people, sometimes not having an opinion is having an opinion. If someone's like, I don't know Osama bin Laden, so I'm not going to say anything bad about him, then you should stop talking to that person, or at least don't get on a plane with them. So look, I get why his supporters want to act like Trump's Proud Boys moment last night was some kind of accidental or unintentional gaffe. But if you see someone making the same mistake over and over again, well, at some point you have to accept that it's not a mistake, it's their belief. Subway, the most popular place to eat after losing a custody battle. While America may love Subway, it looks like some other countries are having a hard time swallowing it.
Subway, one of the most recognizable sandwich shops, was told it's not even serving bread, at least according to Ireland's Supreme Court. The Irish Independent reports that Subway's heated sandwiches, like the hot meatball sub, doesn't have bread because it's too sugary. The court battle has to do with a special tax in Ireland. It offers a zero tax rate for certain foods, like regular bread, if it meets certain requirements.
Yo, are you being serious? According to Ireland's Supreme Court, Subway bread is not actually bread because it's too sugary. And I, for one, am willing to bet that Subway is very happy to have this be their big controversy. Yeah, they're probably like, yep, our bread is too sweet. That's the scandal you should think about when you think about Subway. Make it the top search result for Subway scandal. We deserve it. Sweet bread, that's our thing. To me, this ruling really just shows you that Ireland and America are dealing with very different issues right now. America's Supreme Court is on the brink of striking down healthcare and abortion rights, and Ireland's Supreme Court is like, this bread, it is a wee bit sweet. Might have to look into it. It tastes a bit like sugar, like, did I mix up the flour with the sugar? Yeah, 3 cups of sugar as opposed to flour. I don't know about that. Moving on to some news from the animal kingdom. If you're bringing your kids to the zoo this weekend, you may need to cover their ears at the parrot exhibits.
Well, some foul-mouthed parrots at a British zoo are in big trouble for swearing at people. 5 African gray parrots were donated from separate owners to the Lincolnshire Wildlife Park within the same week. Well, the birds quarantined together, but staff said the parrots were soon swearing and cussing at each other, and then also at visitors who started cussing back. The zoo removed the parrots from public view.
Yes! Is so unfair. Parrots just repeat what they hear. So if they're cursing, it's not their fault.
That's what I'm talking
It's the zookeeper's fault for letting them watch the presidential debate. And by the way, we hear the parrots cursing because they can learn English. But you realize other animals are cursing all the time too, right? I mean, they're all locked in prison. That's what a zoo is. And they didn't even commit any crimes. Every time you hear a lion roar, that's just another animal going, I want my lawyer! It's not murder! It's the circle of life! But here's what confuses me. Why is the zoo removing the parrots? Are you guys insane? This sounds like, by far, the best zoo you could ever go to. You know where I can see a bird that doesn't curse? Literally anywhere. And look, I get that you want to shield the children from it, so fine. Make an adults-only part of the zoo. You know, that's where the parrots can curse, monkeys can hump each other, and those dogs can gamble. In other news, do you guys remember President Obama? Yeah, the nice guy America was with before she got catfished? Well, for people who missed the 44th president of the United States, here's a way that you can keep a little piece of him with you at all times.
With Facebook Shops, your customers can easily browse and buy on Facebook and Instagram.
I want it to stop people in their tracks. I want them to see.
Rare items that belong to Barack and Michelle Obama are going on the auction block. The former president's number 23 high school basketball jersey and the school's 1979 yearbook are expected to fetch, get this, up to $200,000. Also for sale, a vintage black cocktail dress that Michelle Obama wore to a charity fundraiser in 2010. This is believed to be the only gown of hers ever to be offered in an auction. It is expected to sell for up to $70,000. The separate auctions take place in December. The auction house says the Obamas did not put the items up for sale.
Okay, wait. Does this not seem shady to anyone else? There's an auction of Obama memorabilia, but the Obamas were not involved? I mean, does Obama even know about this? Are they like, and the next item up for bidding, Barack Obama's wallet? And he's watching at home like, what the hell? For real, man. I think it's pretty ballsy selling Obama's stuff without his permission. The man has droned people for less. You guys are taking chances. And some of the items don't even make sense. Like, why does anyone want Obama's old basketball jersey? He wasn't in the NBA. That's like paying thousands of dollars for LeBron's high school history test. That's not why he's famous. Although I will say this. Having Obama's yearbook could be pretty cool, you know? It might be a nice change of pace to look through a public figure's old yearbook for fun instead of for evidence. But I guess this is life. People are willing to pay big money for this kind of stuff. And if a yearbook and some old clothes are going to sell for $200,000, man, the Obamas should jump in. They should have a yard sale. They'd make a killing. Barack should just be out there in the yard like, this USB cord has been in the family since 2007. And I'm only asking $10,000 for it. Yeah, it works. You just got to wiggle the thing. You got to wiggle the thing, and it starts charging. Sometimes it'll shock you, but that's life. Let's move on to COVID-19, the virus that's harder to get rid of than a Facebook account. Every day, we're learning more and more about the virus and who is most at risk. And we all know about the elderly and people with health conditions. But now there's a new risk factor you probably hadn't thought of.
Scientists say people who inherited genes from Neanderthal ancestors may be more susceptible to a severe case of COVID-19. A European study published yesterday links a higher risk of hospitalization and respiratory failure to a cluster of genes associated with the Neanderthals. Those genes are found in about 16% of the European population, half the population in South Asia, and is now non-existent in Africa and East Asia. Researchers are not sure why the coronavirus is impacting these gene types and say more studies are necessary.
Yo. That is crazy. People with Neanderthal genes are more likely to be affected by coronavirus? Honestly, guys, all right, this is kind of embarrassing. Because now, if you get COVID, it means your great ancestor probably smashed a caveman. How could you, Nana?
It was a different time back then. He had fire and I was cold. He asked me to come over for some cake.
Come on, we gotta keep it gangster.
You were so sweet.
And I don't know about you, but this was surprising to me.
Keep it gangster.
Because I didn't know that Europeans still had Neanderthal genes.
Got him to fold his
By the way, this is
perfect
great news
play.
for Africans
Perfect
because they
play.
have none. Yeah, right now,
Tell
some
you,
dude
y'all
walking
watch
around
me, I
Uganda
teach
like,
you
oh, who's the savages now, eh?
I call him.
Mzungu, looking at
He
you.
calls.
But right now, I know
he
a lot
had
of you are
A's.
probably wondering whether or not you have Neanderthal genes. And there's actually a pretty easy way to tell, right? If there's a guy behind you that looks like a monkey and a guy in front of you that looks like a human, then you, my friend, are a Neanderthal. Just science. I don't make the rules. But while there's still a lot to learn about this disease, there are some things that scientists are fairly sure of right now. Wearing a mask helps. Washing your hands helps. And most importantly, do not spend a lot of time in unsanitary enclosed spaces with lots of other people. Unfortunately, there are still some people who really don't like listening to scientists.
The White House has blocked a new order from the CDC to keep cruise ships docked until mid-February. The administration will instead allow the ships to sail after October 31st. The CDC says that there have been recent outbreaks of the virus on cruise ships overseas, showing that cruises continue to help spread the virus, even when ships sail at reduced passenger capacity. According to Axios, public health officials have privately complained that the thwarting of the CDC's cruise ship ban is politically motivated, because the industry is a major economic presence in Florida, a key battleground state where the polls are statistically tied.
Oh, hell no. We're doing cruises again? Yo, guys, this is one of the worst things you can do during a pandemic. Corona's gonna be rolling around that ship like Jay-Z in the Big Pimping video. That's why I laid it love him. It almost feels like Trump is actually trying to get people infected now.
Cruises are legal again. And from now on, everyone has to cover their sneezes with another person's mouth. That's it.
Now, I don't care what anybody says. This is clearly a politically motivated decision by Donald Trump. But there must be a safer way for him to win the support of Florida voters. Like, why not give the Medal of Honor to Pitbull or give tax credits to anyone with exposed ass cheeks? I don't even understand why anyone wants to go on a cruise during Corona. It's like boarding the Titanic knowing it's going to sink. The captain is like, I'm gonna steer this thing into an iceberg. And you're like, whatever, man, I just want to meet Leonardo DiCaprio. But you know what? Maybe cruise fans are playing 5D chess. Yeah, because they know that Corona can't hurt you if the food poisoning from the seafood buffet kills you first. It doesn't make any sense for anybody living in America to get on a cruise ship right now. Right? This country has a crazy high infection rate. We're all overeating, nobody is sleeping well, and we're trapped in our homes most of the day. This is a cruise, people. You're getting the experience for free. And finally, some political news. After the fiasco that was the first presidential debate, Americans everywhere spoke up to say, please, we cannot go through something like this ever again. And now the commission that runs the debates is taking action.
The Presidential Debate Commission is promising some rule changes after Tuesday's face-off in Cleveland. This comes amid the fallout from the first meeting between President Trump and Joe Biden that was filled with insults and lots of interruptions. Those changes could include turning off the microphone of the candidate, not answering the question, and then giving the moderator the ability to mute microphones as needed.
Okay. Cutting off Trump's mic might be a good idea, but they shouldn't have told him about it in advance. Because knowing Trump, now he's just going to bring his own mic and a portable speaker like those guys in the subway. This next question is for Joe Biden.
Showtime, folks! It's showtime! Showtime!
Now, I don't know if this is going to work, because even without a microphone, Trump can still find a way to be a distraction without talking. In 2016, you remember? He made those ridiculous faces, yeah? He lurked in the background like a T-Rex in a suit. And of course, who can forget his interpretive ribbon dancing? This man knows how to steal focus. If you ask me, they should leave his mic on the same way they shouldn't ban his Twitter account. Because I don't want anybody making Donald Trump seem more sane than he is. Let America see who Donald Trump is. Open the mic! So look, we'll find out soon what the big changes are going to be. But one of them has already been announced. And I don't know, guys, maybe we made it, but it looks very promising.
Let me ask you a question. Do you want to get a little healthier, maybe lose some weight? Guys, I got you.
Lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months. Lose weight fast. Money back guaranteed. Order right now and save 50%. That's right, save 50% on every month.
This guy, I want to see an honest ballot.
The Presidential Debate Commission has heard your concerns about how the last presidential debate went.
Fewer interruptions. I'm appealing to you, sir, to do that.
Well, and him too.
That's why we've made some small tweaks to the process. The next debates will feature stricter time limits, more moderator control, and the president will be required to wear a muzzle.
Thrown out of the military. And he didn't have a job until you became vice president.
This sound dampening device has 15 pounds of reinforced concrete to reduce disruptive interruptions. We've also heard your concerns about our lack of fact-checking, which is why this muzzle comes equipped with a sensor which will release helium gas if it detects any falsehood.
This is going to be a fraud like you've never seen.
And if all else fails, the muzzle will activate a voice filter that will make Donald Trump sound more presidential.
In many cases, radical left.
There is not a liberal America and a conservative America. There is the United States of America.
The presidential debate muzzle. It's the next best thing to having a normal president.
Oh.
Utah, the state in desperate need of the L-shaped Tetris piece. We now know that one of the easiest ways to stop the spread of coronavirus is just to have everybody wear a mask. Unfortunately, telling everyone to wear a mask is also one of the easiest ways to spread idiocy.
After more than 1 week since schools have reopened in Washington County, the Liberty Action Coalition hosted a rally in front of the school district building this morning. Up to 1,000 people showed up, saying that children being forced to wear masks in classrooms is illegal and even unconstitutional.
Now hundreds have gathered here in front of the Washington County Administration building, calling for the end of a mask mandate.
If we want to wear a mask, that's fine. We can take care of ourselves.
When George Floyd was saying, "I can't breathe," and then he died, and now we're wearing a mask, and we say, "I can't breathe," but we're being forced to wear it anyway.
I'll tell you another reason I hate masks. Most child molesters love them.
God damn, these people were crazy. In fact, you know what? They should have let them storm the school building, because maybe they would have accidentally learned something. Like, I'm still trying to...
Manage data from 5 continents, thousands of customer service requests, and a CEO who wants insights into tomorrow. With SAP S/4HANA, get the agility you need by
I thought they were on break. That's my boy.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. We're back here at Boston Billiard, and yesterday, or the last video, we got punched in the face, and we're back at it. We'll see how things go today until we can bounce back. Anyways, wish us luck, and leave a like on the video, comment down below. Let's see it. You're locking that straight up, guys.
Good luck.
To the 1-3 streak we go. The first interesting spot. We have ace queen offsuit in the big blind. We have an under the gun player who open limps, folds back to the small blind, who raises it up to $15. Here, easy 3-bet spot in position against the small blind player, folds back to the small blind player who makes the call. Going to a flop which comes 7-7-7. Alright, he checks to us, and with ace queen high here, I'm pretty confident that I'm good here a lot of the time. So really just to protect ace queen high, I throw out a bet of $30. He folds, and the first hand of the day is a winner. We love this start. Next spot, we find ourselves with pocket threes in the small blind with an under the gun open to $11. The next to act 3-bets to $35, and this is a player that has a really narrow 3-betting range. Here, even though we're in the small blind, I have really great implied odds to cold call out of position against them. And so even better though, the button makes the call, and this makes our decision to call the 35 so much easier. We call, and the under the gun player calls as well. So we're going 4 ways, hoping to see a good flop. The flop comes deuce, 3-4, 2 diamonds, bingo. This is what we're looking for. Action checks to the 3-better, who throws in a bet of $85. The button thinks about it for quite some time, and then folds, so that's an easy decision. If he was to call or if he was to raise here, this would be a pretty interesting spot. But anyways, he folded, and now on to me. Definitely a spot we're going to check raise on such a wet board. Definitely going to get called by a lot of the aces and kings and queens that are definitely in his range, so hoping he has that. I go for a check raise sizing to $250, which only leaves myself with about 260 behind. Not a whole lot behind here in this spot, but the under the gun player folds, the 3-better jams his entire stack covering me, and I snap call. Let's go to a runout.
Call. Is it fine?
No, I have quads. The 3-better never showed his hands when I showed quads, so we didn't really have to force him to show his hand, but we get the full double up here. Third hand of the session, we have Jack 10 of hearts 5-handed. We have an under the gun player who opens it up to $15. Seems like a super large sizing compared to what has been going on the table so far. Normal was 4x at 12, 15 here, a little bit larger. The button calls, small blind calls, and here in the big blind with Jack 10 of hearts, pretty playable hand, so I call as well. Let's go to a flop, which comes King 9-8 Rainbow. There's one heart out there, and with our open-ended draw, we're certainly going to go with it. The only one player c-bets $40, and I am the only caller. Going to see a turn, which comes the 6 of spades, brings in the backdoor flush draw, and I check here, having whiffed my draw so far. He snap checks it back, which looks really, really weak. Off to a river, which comes another king, the king of spades. So the backdoor flush draw gets there, and when he snap checks it back on the turn, it really doesn't seem likely he has a king. Potentially, like, a really strong hand like queens, maybe like ace queen, I'm not sure, but I think I have a really great opportunity to bluff, so let's go for it. I throw out a bet of $90. He folds, and we get this one through, thank God. This following hand here is a blind versus blind situation. I always struggle with these, but here we are, in the small blind with ace-8 offsuit. I open it up to $12, and the big blind makes the call. We're going to a flop heads up, which comes deuce 5-6 2 hearts, so not really the best board for us, but we do have some backdoors and realistically 2 overs, so I